Hello, welcome dear participants, and uh, I do see people coming in, just joining in. So let's wait for 2 more minutes, and we'll start with our session. Yeah, welcome dear participants. Thank you for being here. So welcome to today's session, third session from Bala Vikasa International Center, Bala Vikasa. So, I'm Vijender Mowgli. I'm a manager here after Social Entrepreneurship in Bala Vikasa. And we have our panelists here today. I also welcome them. And firstly, I just want to introduce to you about our organization. So the session today follows like this. So one is introduction of my organization, and then followed by introduction of panelists and the moderator. You can already see all the three panelists and moderator here. And then followed by that, our moderator Rahul will set the context. I mean, like why we are here and like what is that importance of leadership and team management in social enterprises. And then we have each panelist a dedicated topic for a 7-10 minutes talk from each panelist. So first topic would be importance of transformational leadership and social entrepreneurship. So that would be covered, and then criticality of leadership and team management in social enterprises. Then we have one more topic which is on most ignored actions in leadership and team management. So followed by that, we have a Q&A from moderator which are like we have identified few critical questions within the same leadership and team management. We will post you on behalf of you to the panelists, and after that we will take your questions, participant questions. So we have plenty of time, don't worry. I could already see chat box mentioning that like you have not allowed for Q&A. So please, we are also we will be also opening to you. You in the Q&A session will open unmute you. You can ask directly, or like you can put your questions into the Q&A box where we will take this Q&A in the last to the panelists. Yeah, so let's coming back to our agenda. So today, like we are Bala Vikasa International Center, part of Bala Vikasa organization, where Bala Vikasa is a 43-year-old organization, and we are headquartered at Warangal city in Telangana. And we have three, I mean, like it will take me 1 hour to talk about simply mention about each and every activity, but I don't do that. So we have three major verticals within our Bal Vikasa. So one is called CDDP, which is Community Driven Development Programs. So, and the second one is Community Driven Development is like majorly focused on activities at a ground level, like organic farming, water conservation, clean water, like this, which are dedicatedly driven by community, stakeholder group. And we have PDDC, which is People Development Training Center, where we have realized and focused on development, I mean, like capacity building of all the stakeholders in the development sector, professionals, NGOs, CSRs, and multiple stakeholders. So we have been providing multiple trainings, customized, standardized, lot of trainings. So we have been doing this capacity building programs from 2002. We have like more than 3,000 stakeholders and organizations we have been delivered these trainings to. And third vertical we have is BVIC, which is I am part of it, where Bala Vikasa International Center. So this center typically focuses on social entrepreneurship and responsible business. So within social entrepreneurship, we have multiple programs again. So we focus on incubation, we focus on capacity building. So the current session comes under capacity building of BBIs within social entrepreneurship. So, and then we do a little work on research, which supports to social enterprise ecosystem to strengthen the social enterprise ecosystem. And then we also have Expo Plan, annual flagship program for social enterprise products and services, social entrepreneurs to showcase their products and services, their innovations, their innovations, and it's a kind of a network and a celebration for social entrepreneurs. And then coming back to our responsible business. So responsible business is majorly focused on CSR activities and capacity building of CSR stakeholders. And then consulting works with all the development organizations. So that is what we do in BBIC. You can already look at in the presentation. So that's our facility. We can accommodate like 600 plus people at a time in this campus. So we have a huge facility dedicated for this. So coming back to our panel discussion. So today we are in third session of a bigger webinar, which is why social enterprise succeed or fail. So we have conducted previously too, and this is specially focused on leadership and team management. So what happens, especially on leadership and team management? So let me introduce to you our panelists here. So we have Deepak, Bhujwani, who is currently a CEO of Startup Consulting India. And Startup Consulting India itself is it basically mentors startups and introduces them to investors. And they have successfully made more than 20, 30 startups incubated there, not just incubated, consulted there. And he is a CEO of that. And then he comes with a 3 decades, more than 3 decades of experience across he has multi expertise, I guess, like operations, knowledge management, and sales marketing. Within these different sectors, he managed like multiple teams. So that's how he is like very relevant and very resourceful panel member of this discussion. So next we have Jeevan Hatchin. So currently he is associated with EMC India region, SGS India Private Limited, and where he associated in business development especially. And yeah, we all know SGS is like a world's leading testing and inspection certification company. So worked with Robert Ghost also, with a decade experience with Robert Ghost in engineering and business solutions. And his expertise is like majorly comes with the quality management lab, and as his experience deals with multiple things, he comes with a very focused on he handled multiple teams across his experiences. And he comes with that leadership. His core interest is also in that leadership, and he is very passionate about mentoring social enterprises. So that's our second panelist, Jeevan. And then we have Nitin Kaushal, who comes with a very different experience. He's a international trainer for soft skills and personality development. So yeah, he has been trained bankers, retail, sales, marketing. He is a typical trainer. And yeah, his expertise is obviously the training thing. And he also worked with banks for a decade. And then yeah, he is also interested in mentoring social enterprises. Yeah, so these are all our panelists. And coming back to our moderator, and, I would say, Rahul Bharadwaj, and who is our senior director in Bala Vikasa, and he leads programs in Bala Vikasa. And he is a CSR panel member for CII. CII Telangana chapter. CII is like Confederation of Indian Industry. And then of course, he before he joined Bala Vikasa, he had like more than 2 decades of experience in consulting management. He is very good with the strategic management, business planning, analysis. And yeah, he comes with a very multiple expertise um, to the table. And then he's also, I'm happy, I'm proud to mention, he's also an alumni of London B School. And yeah, so that's all about our organization and panelists. So I welcome once again all. So we have good number of participants, and yeah, so we all have panelists. So yeah, so with a small note on this poll, so we have been identifying that we have reached out all of you participants, especially through multiple channels. We want your opinion. You can see the poll on the screen. So you simply provide your option within this. So with that note, I just hand over to Rahul to take this forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Vijender. There were so many likes in your introduction. Okay, yeah. Welcome all. I think it's a it's a privilege to have Vivek, Jeevan, and Nitin, and all of you joining us for this session. Now, there are multiple dimensions for the success or failure of an enterprise. successful startups can attribute their success to multiple things. It could be an idea, it could be a breakthrough product, it could be a advantages of IP, and it could be the team, it could be leader, it could be so many aspects. So through this series of webinars, we are trying to understand each and every aspect, because it is very difficult, believe me. In my consulting career, and I have worked with top consultants like KPMG and Deloitte, and then I was with Aditya Birla Group in their corporate office. We tried to identify the most important factors leading to the success or failure of an organization. Although you can blame, or you can pin, or you can glorify certain aspects, but rarely it is the single most important factor that is responsible for either success or failure. Usually it's a series of so many things you do right consistently over so many years that make the organization reach or attain success, as you may define it. And similarly, failure, yes, uh, inherently or evolution wise, any new thing is slated to fail. So startups will fail, that's the nature. But yes, certain factors or certain dimensions make that failure faster or slower. So we have seen the importance of product, we have seen the importance of marketing. So today we are converging to understand what is the importance of leadership. And although different theories and different philosophies are around on leadership, some say the strict disciplinarian, some say a casual leader with more hands-off approach, and then there are everything in between. So there are multiple leadership styles. But I must say that leadership, according to me, is largely contextual. Political leadership is very different than a technical leadership or a technology leadership. Similarly, family leadership will be very different than an organizational leadership. And therefore, each leader will evolve based on the external environment, based on the internal requirements, based on the constraints and opportunities that are presented, and everything in between. So leadership is very complex. So today we will try to understand, with the help of Vivek, Jeevan, and Nitin, that how is this leadership contextualized with respect to social entrepreneurship. Whether we need different kinds of leaders, whether leaders are different in this segment. Is social entrepreneurship so different that we need different kind of leaders? I would say yes, because the leaders in the NGO or the social sector are very different than the corporate sector. Or is it a myth? We will try to see that. We'll try to answer those questions. We'll try to have your questions. We will try to have a discussion. We will take, we'll learn a lot from the experiences of these three gentlemen, and also from all the participants, and we'll see. So in that, I'll not take much of the time. I'll allow the expert panel to take over. We'll start with Vivek. He will talk about the role of leaders in social entrepreneurship, the transformational leadership, why is it required, and then a lot more. Over to you, Vivek.
Thanks, Rahul. So I hope you can hear me.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm just going to talk about, some of the thoughts I had post some of the very interesting discussions we had about, leadership and the social aspect of it. So what I've done is I've put together a small sort of presentation which talks about what a transformational leader should do. And this also comes across, based on how the transformational leader is performing their job, in a sense. So one of the things very clearly is that the transformational leader would outline the vision and measure the progress over time of what vision has been put out. Also, the transformational leader is to appeal to the values that go beyond the self. So like you said, very different from a profit enterprise. We are going beyond self-interest and not looking at the individual or benefit. One is looking at more the benefit of the society. And that's where the transformation has to happen. The people in the organization have to work cooperatively with the leader and with each other and manage their own governance with a sort of cohesiveness and a very strong morality. Because if you find that morality goes away in a social enterprise, then it's very, very difficult. Then that means the leakage is happening. We are clearly going beyond self-interest. We are building a collective identity for the greater good of the society. There's a lot of compassion and concern, which sort of, distinguishes it from a pure private enterprise. There's a personal rapport with employees and followers that the leader has built up. And that's why they want to, in a sense, perform and do that, follow that vision. I'll just come to the next slide. There will be a value of interest of society over the self-interest. There will be clearly a sustainable development to meet the present needs, but not compromise the future generational needs also. So there's a focus on the short to medium, but keeping in mind what the long term is. And that's very, very important, because one of the things I think we forget a lot is that maintenance is also important. For example, if you make a building, it needs to be maintained also. So at least what one finds is basically, the inauguration of a new building is always done with a lot of pomp and show. But you'll never find those same people come back after 10 years to see how that building is now. Then, for example, there'll be a strong track on human well-being, environmental well-being, and economic well-being. So all three of these things become probably equally important. And there needs to be a link of organizational and employees' identity with the greater social causes. Now I'll come to two of the more key points which may be getting ignored. That is, there needs to be a support from all the stakeholders to this leader. So while the leader may be pushing the vision and trying to make things happen, the rest of the people, normally in the NGO, they are called trustees, they need to support the vision. And if they don't, then clearly the organization is going to fail. Then the other very key job that a leader has is to identify a backup for themselves. So it may be one people, it may be two people, because nowadays, or at any point actually, you cannot just operate by just being a single leader who's going to make these wonderful things happen. It has to be the whole organization as such. So what I'd like to say is that unless we look at all these points together, it's going to be very difficult for the organization to succeed, whether it is a social or profit making. But in a social organization, there's more the human and compassion element. I was also mentioning something, because I come from a consulting environment to startups, that now there is something called impact investment, where, you can measure a certain basic amount of return that you need to provide the impact investor, and then they will invest in certain causes. So it's like a quasi NGO. It's somewhere between an NGO and a company. So that option is also there. So we don't have to be just an NGO or just a company. We can provide that minimum return, be part of things like water management, forest management, social causes, education. Some of those come into that impact environment. So back to you, Rahul, for the next topic. Hi, Rahul, back to you for the next topic.
Oh, hi. Okay, thanks. I think there was some
I think it got
momentary
missed.
glitch in my
Yeah.
network. Yeah, I think very important points, Vivek. I think what I understand is that yes, as a social startup, it is a lot more about transformation. It's about behavior change. It's about transformation. It's about
Yes.
rooting out certain social issues which have been so entrenched in our system that it is really not possible otherwise. So yes, it's pretty tough. And then I think it'll be interesting to see how the impact investment space is evolving. So earlier, I could see the impact investment. I could relate impact investment to microfinancing, although it was not investment per se. But yes, that was the closest that came to supporting the for-profit business ventures in social sector. So I think it will be important for all of us here, especially us as stakeholders, ecosystem developers, to track the impact investment space and see how it is evolving. So yeah, I think good. Next, I think we have Nitin. So Nitin will talk about what are the critical, or how critical is the leadership, and what are the dimension or aspects of team management that need to be taken care of by the leaders in social startup. Over to you, Nitin.
Uh, Thank you, Rahul. Am I audible? Am I audible perfectly? Rahul, am I
You are
audible?
audible. Yeah,
You are
you're audible.
audible.
Okay. So, my opinion, in my opinion, the leadership is, obviously uh, the most crucial thing in any organization, whether social enterprise or even a traditional organization, because leadership does not, if I say leadership, it does not only rely on ethics and integrity. It also relies on empathy and passion. If there is a lack of passion, the social enterprise cannot go forward. The very idea behind starting this enterprise, that passion has to be there, so the leader has to show that passion. The leadership is always passionate, and that passion also is to be downloaded, or I must say it should be copied by the other people present in the organization. And when we talk about the role of leadership, uh, as far as the team management is concerned, the leadership has to play a role of a coach. The the leader is not only a leader that he has to lead something. He has to take people to a certain place. He has to make people learn. He has to the I'm talking about the leaders. All the leaders, they have to take people. Hand holding has to be there, and whatever idea they have, it is their responsibility, to develop others to carry on with that idea. They have to be trainers. They are the trainers. They are the facilitators. They have certain kind of strategy along with the idea that they are having. They will develop a strategy, and along with that idea, that strategy is to be followed by the team members. Then if I say the leadership is a visionary, because when we talk about social enterprises, we have this idea, we have this vision that we are going to make a big change in other people's life. So that vision is to be followed by that has to be agreed upon by each and every part of the organization. Then a lot of decisions, sometimes harsh decisions, are to also be they also have to make harsh decisions. Then sometimes they have to be soft also.
Nitin, we can't hear you, Nitin. I guess we lost your voice.
Nitin, there's some problem in your side. We are not able to hear you.
Uh, Hello.
Yeah.
Is it okay now?
Yeah, it's coming back.
Okay. Okay. Maybe some technical issue. So I was talking about the leadership role. The leaders have to be influencers. They influence people with the uh, with the idea that they have. They are to be constantly influencing others in a positive way. And being a leader, they have to be also a team player. They cannot only be a single person sitting on the head of each and every one. They are to be the team players. They have to lead other people in a way that everyone, just the same way that we say normally in case of teams, that team is an acronym. Together everyone achieves more. So this is an idea that a leader has to inculcate in every team member. And finally, the last point I would like to add over here is that the leader is a very good listener. He is not only going to talk, he has to listen to a lot of things. He will understand, he will judge a lot of things. And then finally, when the time comes to act upon it, that's where again the leadership will take it forward. Yeah, that's it. Over to
Okay,
you,
thanks.
Vijender.
Yeah, thanks, Nitin. So I think some of the important points that Nitin has touched upon. I think the first point is that there's reiteration of the definition of leader. So by definition, a leader in any context, whatever the context, be it political or be it social, be it organizational, be it family, technology, whatever. So leader has to have people who follow. So the leadership, the basic minimum quality is that the translation of leaders' vision or acceptance of leader vision and ideas around fulfillment of that vision needs to be accepted by people, and those are the qualities. So whatever comes, so obviously it could be the visionary, so leaders have to be visionary, so they should be able to see what normally or the normal people are not able to see. Then Nitin also talked about the decision making. So in certain situations, yes, we need a decisive leader. We have very stark examples of two very recent prime ministers of India. Now I'm not taking any political side, but just on the basis of decisiveness, you can see two very contrasting styles, and both are leaders because of the particular qualities they had. Else, they would not have been leaders, and these are very two different qualities. Yes, there is a common theme. Yes, there is a common theme. Yes, there are followers, either the forced ones or the natural ones. But yes, there is a this thing. There is a effective delegation. There is effective delegation. There is acting as a coach, as an advisor, as a people's person. But we have very different styles. Even in corporate, if we go to the corporate world, we'll see leaders like Ratan Tata. We'll have leaders like Elon Musk, and then we have a very very camera shy or publicity shy leaders such as Aditya Birla's chairman Kumar Mangalam Birla, who I personally happen to work. No interview, no this thing, you won't even know he's there. So very contrasting, very contextual, but still very contrasting. And then again, the same point, and one point that again Nitin is highlighting is that being a social change maker through social entrepreneurship, you necessarily will need to have empathy and passion. Maybe these are the two specific qualities that we can consider for a social, entrepreneurship, for a social startup. Although I don't know whether without passion or empathy, any other in any other context, the leadership will survive. But yes, for social entrepreneurship, yes, empathy and passion. Going back to what Vivek had said, transformation. So the transformational leadership otherwise will not be possible. So I think on that note, we'll move to Jeevan. He will talk, a little bit more in terms of what he'll get down to the actions, and he'll get down to the recommendations, more granularity as to what should be done by leaders. Over to you, Jeevan.
Hello. Could you able to see the screen and able to hear me?
Yes, yes.
Yes,
Yeah,
we
Yeah.
but
can.
image you will have to explain.
It's a vision, you can take it. Yeah.
Okay.
So I thanks Rahul, Vivek, and Nitin for thoughtful insights. My topic is most ignored actions or recommendations for leadership and team management. I will be happy to share or going back to basics. So my ideas also were to start with some basics. So let me know if the screen is changing. I just pressed next slide. Hopefully you will able to see the complete screen.
Yeah, it's good.
Yes.
Yeah. So what is a team? Let me start with the basics. Like as by nature, we humans are social animals. We also have a basic need to belong to a team or a relationship or a group. So we need this bonding. So we have to work together as a team, whether it is social enterprise or whether it is commercial enterprise or whether it is even outside the office or inside the office. Anywhere we have to work like a team. So as Nitin told, the acronym for team, together we can achieve more. So by alone we can do so little, but together we can do so much. With that, I think we should come together to achieve something bigger. So the myth or the idea behind team is always we feel that team should be bigger in size, like 5 or 10 people or 100 people of team. But let me give you clarity that team need not be more or big. Even a 2-person team can also do for starting your business or starting your dream. So do not wait for making your team to grow or wait for starting something. If you have a team of 2 people or if you have a dream and you have passion, please start. So with that, I think the meaning of team is together we can achieve more, and always multiple minds will bring more thoughts than a single brain. Yeah, coming to next basic question is, what is leadership? Again, leadership, when we talk, it's completely different than managing or management. Leadership, we deal with a lot of uh, people management and interactions with humans. So it is not a position, so it is an action. So that means a leadership, we don't become leaders just because I got a position and I sit in the chair and I can be called as a leader. I have to show by action. I have to show that I can do this or I can lead this. So with that, I can become a leader. It is not a position. It is not coming because I reach this position or I reach this age and then I can be called as a leader. So it is an action, not a leadership. I'll just give you a next slide, some more clarity. So here you can see 2 images. I can categorize leadership as 2 things, one called as leader and one called as follower. So as I told, leadership is not a position, it's an action. So just to give you an example, take an example of farmer. A farmer may know how to grow or improve the yield of his crop by more than 10 times or more than 3 times by not using any chemical fertilizer. So he has that knowledge and he can lead many more people, and he can be the leader and the others can follow. Similarly, you can see the another image where a IT guy who has sensors and AI technology, who knows to improve the yield of the crop by using the technology, using his knowledge or his expertise, and he can lead that field and others can follow. Imagine if these two people are working in the same team, the act of leader and follower are constantly exchanging. So it is not position, again, it is an action. We need not take uh, some person as a leader, but based on the situation or based on the contextual given scenario, we can say based on the field of expertise, somebody can become a leader, somebody can become a follower. So this is to set the context: who is leader, who is follower. Anybody can become a leader, anybody can become a follower. uh, how do we do a team management if you have a team? And normally I normally on this topic I speak what is not talked much. People feel that we have to give more promotions, more perks, more pay rise and prizes, or to motivate people to work. But as Nitin and Vivek told, or Rahul told, the purpose and passion what drives the people, especially in social enterprise. If we have to start from the intrinsic motivation, that is purpose, you have to define why are we doing it, why are we starting this business, or why are we doing this exercise, so that there is a buy-in from your team and they work towards this goal. And then passion. What is passion? Passion is what drives you to do this thing. For example, let's take an example of uh, purpose. A purpose is like I want to reach uh, some area, for example, some goal. And passion is how will I reach there. Every day when I get up, there should be a josh that I am going to drive this vehicle, and then I'm going to reach that goal. So that is the passion. Passion is the what part of the question, and purpose is the why part of the question. Then is the positive environment. I call it as cup of tea, because the acronym for T is trust, empowerment, and autonomy. So trust, you have to trust your team. It is difficult to build the trust, but as a team leader or as a leader, you can blindly start trusting your team. You can give that a chance to fail or freedom to fail, but still you can start trusting the team and empower them and give them autonomy, so that you can see the magics happening within the team. The next is the pride. You have to keep that enjoyment and fun. It need not be a slogging work hours and other things. So you have to feel pride of what you are doing. It can be a small steps of goals you are achieving, or you are achieving the bigger goals, but you have to feel that prideness in your goals. So this motivates, intrinsic motivation keeps the team bonding, and the leaders work less, or let's say, for example, the day-to-day work less, because he need not have to bring every day together, or he need not have to do micromanagement. It becomes self-organized team when they are intrinsically motivated. So just an activity, maybe you can go back to your team or office and just ask your entry-level accountant. I took the example of accountant because normally he or she, day in, day out, they are with the numbers and financial figures. They use this rational part of the brain. And if they can define you the purpose of the company, or the purpose of the CEO, or the vision of the founder and the CEO, then definitely you are on the right track. That means person, I took the example of accountant. Even if you can ask different level or different uh, person, but I felt accountant is one we always mostly ignore in offices, or not include in our stakeholder as our vision or goal. But if he or she can define your purpose, then definitely you are on the track. And if not, then please improve the communication, frequency of communication and transparency, so that you can bring that buy-in from the team. So again, leadership and team management, it is not managing the team or a business. It is how you inspire self, inspire others, and inspire business, so with actions. So if you can inspire others, and so that they can dream more, learn more, and do more, and then you can become a leader. And again, I'm telling this is not a position. And if you are any person in the organization, you can become a leader. If you have I always refer to an author called Simon Sinek from who wrote The Leaders Who Eat Last. So he always says that if you have a person to your left or if you have a person to your right, then you are a leader. So your actions inspires others. So please do take action so that it can inspire many people. So here you can see different types of leadership styles. There could be still more. There are 10, 15, or you can list many type of leadership styles. And when you search in Google, and you can see that you may be fitting into one or two or many of leadership styles. So, but in recent, or you can see the world is changing from industrial revolution to digital revolution, from digital revolution to now social revolution. We may not, these leadership styles may not be sufficient, or we have to say, and to put it in another way, we have to develop two more or some more leadership styles, which will make us to survive in coming days or in this social revolution. So I will come to the last slide, where I recommend two styles of leadership. One is servant leadership, and the other one is the gardener leadership. So in servant leadership, where leader, as I told, leader is not a position. Again, if in organization there will be a report, is there will be a team, there will be a chairperson, there will be a CEO, founder who will be called as leader. He should start acting like he is a servant leader. He is there to serve people's need or the team's need, and he should listen, support, coach, mentor, and serve the team, so that together they can achieve the common goal what they have set. Coming to the gardener type of leadership, you are creating a right environment. So again, as we spoke, leadership or is a, we are dealing with humans, and every human being is unique. If you take 7 billion people, all 7 billion people are unique. And in your team, if you have a 2 or 5 or 500 people, all 500 people behave in a different way, and you have to manage that. Similarly, the gardener, if he is growing a carrot, if he is growing a tomato, or if he's growing a potato or anything, he treats the plant, he gives the nourishing fertilizers, he gives the shade. For something you don't need a shade, for something somebody is overshadowing, you have to remove the weeds. So this kind of activity as a gardener leadership, you have to focus on building your team, removing obstacles, creating right environment, and creating a safety net or a safety circle for the team, so that they can feel safe to work in the team. And then you nurture. So the word I want to use is the nurture, uh, so that they can grow in the team. And again, finally, together you can achieve the common goal. So with that, I think these are my two recommendations for gardener leadership and servant leadership, which may help in future days to keep the millennials and the team together, and to help the social cause. With that, I thank you, and then over to you, Rahul.
Thanks, Jeevan. That was like a condensed capsule course on leadership.
Thank
But
you.
yeah, I think very relevant points, and a lot of good examples, in terms of the leadership. Yes, so just to reiterate, and then link it what we have been discussing. So you are suggesting that in social space or in social startup, it is important to have intrinsic motivation, which is
Yeah.
going beyond pay, perks, and other benefits, which I think is which I think is largely relevant, because otherwise also social sector or so-called development sector cannot compete on basis of perks, benefits, and pay. The sector is not structured like that, and therefore what we see is a lot of social sector organizations coming up because of the founder's passion. So this is a inherently this is a sector where you will see people who are motivated not by the materialistic material worldly pleasures, but more by the impact, more by helping others. I think this is something also very natural. I don't know whether there are leadership lessons or there are leadership coaching available which can transform the people from extrinsic to intrinsic motivation.
Hello. Rahul.
Now, how do we go beyond? Yeah.
Yeah, we missed in between. The voice was stuck.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. So
Last five
I
seconds.
think yeah. So I think what Jeevan is highlighting in terms of intrinsic motivation is what all these spiritual leaders, big philosophers are also saying, that how do you be happy? Don't look at material possessions. Try to look at purpose of life. Try to look at what makes you happy. If you are happy from inside, this is where you have all the control. Don't be dependent on external factors to be happy. Stop that. So Jeevan is saying it in a very, very common man's language. Okay, forget about it. Don't get excited by pay and all those things, which is right actually. Which is right, because if you see different philosophies, you will realize that yes, we should be and we are capable of controlling our own happiness. And I'll tell you my own examples. I my happiness levels are have been completely independent of money somehow. It's not that I have made a lot of money, but whatever was the range I was hovering in, I was always much happier when I was in the earlier range somehow. So I don't know, maybe it is inversely correlated, or maybe I have independent, but very, very important points, very, very important points. And I think we are also seeing the leadership styles changing. Now we are talking about inclusion, we are talking about motivation, we're talking about team empowerment, autonomy, and moving away from micromanagement and then strict monitoring and policing and all those things. So I think it is also very relevant, the changing work cultures are also contributing. Good. So I think we had wonderful points. Now, before we open up the question answer sessions for the participants, I just want to have very specific 2 to 3 questions from the panelists. So my first question is to Jeevan and Vivek, and then you can answer sequentially. So what is the role of leadership in bringing innovations in the social sector? So Vivek, you mentioned about the transformational leadership. So I think I would request you to look at that transformation and then talk to you bring out that role in terms of change management, and then the role of the leader as a change agent or a change maker.
So I have been fortunate to be associated with a charity in Haryana called Arpana, and I
Okay.
have observed the change over several years. And one of the things they have started is to have a financial independence of the women. So they have actually built in a financial independence of the women, where the women manage their own finances, they are able to run their own livelihood, so that gradually they are able to manage also. Otherwise they were completely dependent. Now over time, I assume that will move towards use of some of the startup methodologies, where you're able to use mobile apps and all. That has not yet happened, but I'm just assuming. But right now they follow a system where they get together, they decide what their goals will be for the week, for the month, and they plan out. So the whole idea was to make them to have an independence from uh, the village men. I mean, not to say that the men were bad, but many of them had bad habits of liquor and beating them up and things like that. So they needed an independent source of income. So these are some of the things that were a transformation at that time, but these will get further transformed with the use of technology and apps and things like that. So that's what I wanted to point out to your question.
Yeah. Uh,
Yeah,
for
Jeevan.
yeah, the question is for innovation. I think the enterprise should be curious with asking question on why, what, and how, and see whether they can do a cross technology. Like for example, you see at some part of the field or some part of the technology where you can use it. For example, you see some technologies getting used in medical. Can we bring it to agriculture? And some in agriculture to social need of, let's say, for example, women empowerment and other things. So be curious and observe things which can be easily transformed, and bring that innovations, and be that have that creativity, have a frugal and flexible innovations, so that I know the R&D budgets will not be so high, so that we want to create a lab and start innovating. Being frugal and flexible is most key point, or in Indian context, being jugaad. And then have always a continual improvement, have a metrics or KPI in your organization, to have a continual improvement search, that you are always improving based on your different creativity indexes. And coming to the change, I feel the another word which I want to is you have to come out of comfort zone. If you are in that comfort zone and you want to make a change or be a part of change, it is not possible. So there will be always a resistance to change from either parties. So you have to bring people out of their comfort zone and start loving the problem, so that you can create the change. So I think all three or four C's: curiosity, creativity, continual innovations, and uh, breaking the comfort zones, maybe answers the question, Rahul.
Okay, thanks. So I think if I extend this discussion, change and transformation. Yes, it is required for organization and leaders' own self. See, most of the leaders are self motivated. So external pressures, no external pressures, stakeholders, no stakeholders, they are always, they have that intrinsic motivation to do something, and that propels them, that drives them, and that ensures that without any supervision they are doing, and therefore they are leaders. But when we talk about the startup, when we talk about entrepreneurship, and when we talk about the organization, so it is not now the leader alone. See, if it is possible to have a personality completely imprinted on someone else, I think we would see that even kids are not the carbon copies of their parents. So as a human, there are individuals, there are individual dimensions, there are individual thought processes and individual basic inherent nature. As kids, a 3-month-old baby, different, they don't have anything, but they are very different from one another. So there is something, in human genetic makeup that is very inherent. So if I say that, how now that as a social startup, my passion, I have done something. Now it is into an organization, and now there are important stakeholders. For example, team members and investors. So what should be the 2-3 practices that leaders should follow, so that the investors and the teams are happy? So I will open up this question to all three panelists. They can answer basis their turn, one by one.
So I think one of the things that I have noticed, because having dealt with startups over the last 2 years much more, So one of the things is the honesty. So investors are expecting that when you send those monthly numbers and your returns in a sense, things are fit and proper. So if you're not honest, then that whole self-doubt starts happening. Then the investors will query more, and then in any case, the enterprise is going to fail. So the same thing would be true, I think, for social enterprise also. So you can't bring a transformation on lies. So, so I think that is one very important point. So
Yeah. For to bring the confidence, I think one leadership should be content-based leadership. He should have the content of the field, whatever he is dealing with, he or she. And as Vivek sir told, the honesty, or to put it in another way, transparency and frequent communication. When we say communication and transparency, it is not from top to down, it even from bottom up approach. For example, there should be a transparency or frequent communication happening from bottom up approach. There should be a like open door concept, or people can come in and then say, this is the problem which I'm in, and I cannot do this, or I cannot do that, so that the leader who is taking care can put that word to the founders or the trustees that this is not possible. Being transparent and having frequent communication can help, and is content based leadership should help building the confidence within the team and to the management.
The point, another point I'd like to add over here is, I believe leadership is synonymous to influencing. The leader has to be influencer. If a leader cannot influence others, he cannot actually lead them. So this is another one point I believe that is required, for the leadership. When uh, when we are leading others, when we are telling others to do something, instead of actually telling them, what we do is we do it on our own. When we start doing it, when we show them how to do it and how it has to be done, so this is how we are influencing others also. We are giving them an example that this is how this also can be done. And if you have any other ideas, as Rahul also said, that you have can you have to be a good communicator also, so you can be in communication with other people. And if something better can be done here, so that idea also can be taken away.
Okay, I think interesting, interesting analysis. See, the leadership is such an interesting question. Just like I like cricket, so I forcibly take cricket as a base, to base my examples, to base my arguments, and so leadership is like a cricket selection, Indian teams selection. All have opinion, and then you can enter into the endless debate on who should be selected and why should they be selected and why they should not be selected. This is one. Then second endless topic could be, okay, at what point in time in the match you should have taken what kind of decision, and then you should have done that. And that similarly leadership is like that. We people are already discussing. We talked about political leaders, two recent prime ministers, and then we can extend the same discussion to two recent Indian cricket team captains. Very different styles, even worldwide also. Just we saw Indian captain and New Zealand captain, both very very different personalities. And both are equally, if not more than one another, successful. So that again brings down to what we have been discussing, contextual. Just last this thing that I want to it's not the question that we had discussed earlier. It just came. So in social space, in development space, I have seen two, or I know only, there are so many leaders. Yes, there is Ashoka founder Bill Drayton, but I will get closer to home. Mother Teresa, one very different personality, and let's say Muhammad Yunus, the founder of microfinance, very different leader. So, do you think that in India or in world, the time has come to move from Mother India, Mother Teresa kind of leadership, which is more completely on empathy, giving, charity, to Muhammad Yusuf kind of leadership, which is impact, but also discipline, also some of the practical or more corporate kind of personality. What do you, I mean, just each Vivek, Nitin, Jeevan, you can just share your view on that. Is it the time that has come for this leadership? Do you see it changing, or do you see both existing in equal numbers?
Well,
Both
Rahul,
will exist clearly. I mean, both will exist in. Sorry, Nitin.
no,
Both will
it's
exist
okay.
in equal numbers, I feel. Although, yes, technically, I think the time has come for more structure and action. Sorry, Nitin, go ahead.
This is the same thing actually I also wanted to say, that depending upon the time, the times are ever changing. We cannot stick to one single concept forever. So the concepts are changing, the times are changing, the challenges are changing. Every now and then we see new changes, right? So we can say that everywhere there will be a combination of both. That's what I believe.
Yeah, I think I also agree with the both of the panelists. I think the hybrid culture is the one. I mean, there is no take this or take that, but I think hybrid culture will give more sustainability than a single way of doing it.
Okay, interesting that we all converge and we all kind of agree on the same thing.
Agree.
Vijender, what do you think?
Yeah.
Let's take the view of younger generation.
I definitely say, I mean, like, even I strongly believe Muhammad Yunus leadership has actually helped it actually created a lot of impact. And like, of course, I don't deny that, like, what Mother Teresa has done is like great. But like, maybe Muhammad Yunus leadership has transformed or like converted many young people like me converted into leaders. That would have actually helped, I guess. That's my take.
Okay. No, why I ask this question is because we at Bala Vikasa have also kind of or also kind of trying to do that. We've been a very traditional, strictly donation based NGO for the last 42 years. And yes, we have had created a huge impact, reaching out to 6,000 plus villages across 6 states in India, uh, both Telugu states, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, then Madhya Pradesh, Karnataka, Chhattisgarh, Tamil Nadu. So we have been through our various programs, reached out to 6,000 plus villages and impacting 6 million people directly or indirectly. And all of these programs are funded programs based on grants and donations. But we also realized that in last 40 plus years, we have impacted close to 6 million people through traditional development models. Can we find out few entrepreneurial ideas which can impact similar number of people in lesser time? So entrepreneurship, according to us, and social entrepreneurship, according to us, is having that kind of potential. And there is a built-in sustainability. Should there be a workable model, should there be a sustainable model, then the impact is permanent. impact is all throughout, because there is inherent sustainability. So on that note, I thank Vivek, Nitin, and Jeevan for fantastic discussions. I think we can go on, but then we have time limits and we have participants. They also have time. So with this, I think, Vijender, we are open to questions from the panelists. You
Yeah.
may want to route the questions through Q&A, or you want to open up, allow them to speak.
So I can allow them to speak.
Okay.
We have like a couple of questions from participants, but
Okay.
like they are more relevant to the social enterprise sustainability and all.
Okay.
So if it's a request for participants, if you are having any question, you simply raise your hand in the option, like you can see raise hand option, so that we allow you to unmute and like speak. That is one. So till somebody responds, I have a question. I mean, like I just wanted to reframe the question from participants. Who is the question is from Ashok Bhojwani. So what's the view of panelists on sustainability of startup organization? So I just want to reframe this question like, so is there any contribution of leadership and team management on sustainability of a social enterprise? If so, I would definitely agree, yes. But like, what is that critical part?
I think the question, from the way I understand, is more about, what is sustainability of a startup. Because see, what's happening is that the environment has become very chaotic. So if you compare, let's say, the big giants on the stock exchange, like the ITCs and the HLLs of the world, to a startup is trying to do something new. But also, in a sense, a startup ends up becoming like, okay, 3 out of 100 or 2 out of 100 will succeed in what they do. Now, in the context that we are talking more in the social context. So even in the social context, maybe, you would try a dozen ideas within, let's say, Bala Vikas. You'll say, okay, let's get these villagers together. Let's try to do some, savings accounts for them. Then after some time, let's make them into micro entrepreneurs. Let them go around the village, try something new with those wallets that they've created. It may or may not succeed, but that doesn't mean we stop trying. So, so I think that's what I would say.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Even
Yeah, I think to add on to Vivek sir is that as he told, 5 out of 100 startups may survive or sustain. So what happens to the other 95? Because they created a Me Too product, or they created with a different purpose. So I think again the purpose backs here. If it is driving the founder, and finally it may boils down to the money. I think we can speak endlessly that we have to be intrinsically motivated. Finally, we have to say that whether we have the money to survive at least. If I can survive, my dream will survive. So there is a concept called ikigai. I don't know who has asked the question, but we can say that if you are in the startup or if you are in the team, do a ikigai survey and do that, whether you are getting paid for it, you are loving the job, and if you are finding that purpose, and I think you are answering that, you are sustaining that, or you can be in that. But if you are creating only for me too, or kind of following somebody's dream, then maybe the sustainability part will become difficult. Yeah, to add on to the question.
thank you. Thank you. So Nitin, do you want to add anything or like?
Yeah, of course. See, sustainability actually, I believe, depends on five friends, and in fact, I would say six friends of mine. This is what I do uh, everywhere. I mean, whenever such question comes up, the simplest example, the simplest answer to all these questions would be 5W and 1H approach. The 5Ws that we have: what, when, why, where, and who. So these 5Ws, and ultimately how it has to be done. So I think for sustainability, if we are able to answer all these 6 questions, so sustainability will not be a challenge here. This is what my say.
Yeah, thank you. So I mean, it is also, I mean, like many of the times in the startup ecosystem and like social enterprise or enterprise ecosystem, sustainability is always linked with the financial stability of the organization. So I mean, like I also think like social enterprises are not just financial stability, but also we are creating a lot of awareness. We are creating a lot of influence over other products, and it is also time for that. Also, I guess like, we should also put some financial quantification or like financial element to that. How many we have in place? How many are actually that? That's where I think like we should be directed towards. Yeah, thank you so much. Even I'm actually carrying away from even I'm getting lost in the questions and answers. So it's very nice session. Thank you so much, Rahul. If you want to say something in the last.
No, I think we have done a good discussion. We have understood different leadership aspects. I think what are the common, where everyone has agreed is that for social sector, for social startups, we need a lot more than what we need in terms of commercial or a normal leader. We need a leader who has more empathy, who has more passion, and who has probably a very different mindset than a lot of other leaders. We also agree that leadership is contextual, as Jeevan also mentioned, Vivek also mentioned, Nitin also mentioned. And then we saw the example, in different situations, the same person can become a leader. And in a very different situation, the same person can be a follower. And who better than me to experience this? And maybe Vivek experienced this firsthand in consulting. Depending on the project, there is a project leader, and depending on your role, you are probably a contributor and you're not a leader in that project. And at times you can be leading a same team if it is in a different domain. So that is a good so that is a very, very practical point, that it is contextual. And yes, last but not the least, yes, we will have Mother Teresa, we will have Muhammad Yunus. They will coexist, they will keep on contributing. And we might see, as we are seeing, that we might see a new brand of leadership also evolving, which might be something very different. So thank you so much, Vivek. Thank you so much, Nitin. Thank you so much, Jeevan,
Thanks. Thank you so much. Really
for your
enjoyed.
time and for your support to us. Thank you, Vijender.
Thank
Thanks
you
a lot,
everyone.
Raj.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much,
Uh,
panelists.
Thank you,
So
Vijay.
I just wanted to take 2 more minutes
okay.
from the participants, just to just to relate conclusion. And like I do enjoy it. Like I could see a lot of participants staying there, and like generally after 40 minutes of time, like they generally lose their place, and like there is a lot of dropout happening. This is a very good session, and like so you can see on the screen we have a next session. Like we have a very beautiful, I mean like very diverse and very good list on board. So that topic is like on enterprise finance management, and of course like I would say next time moderator is like Rahul is expertise of this. So we will have a wonderful session next time. So it's on the same day, Wednesday. Every Wednesday we actually plan these panel discussions. So all the participants, you can be part of it. Like we'll reach out to you. So you already have provided us feedback, and we'll reach out to you in the mail also with a thanking mail. So thank you so much. And also one more thing I want to mention before close is like these are all panel discussions we have just started, and like we have actually a dedicated 4-day, 1-week programs ahead, focusing only on social enterprises, skills and capacities required. So this is only for social enterprise, entrepreneurs, startup ecosystem stakeholders. And we are focused on basic social entrepreneurship, and like we are having trainings on startup pitching, how to pitch your idea, social marketing, and like impact measurement. So nowadays everybody talks about impact measurement. So we have 10 different training programs designed. So we welcome you to reach out to us, like reach out through mail ID you already have with us. So thank you one and all. That's all I wanted to take. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you for
Vijay.
Thank you all the
Thank you.
panelists.
Thank you so much.
everyone. Thank you. Bye bye.
And next time you speak up.